Hi, Verbling. My name is Michaela. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona, and I am currently in Prescott. I know it's been a while since I've done open classes, but I'm going to do a few today, and hopefully a lot more soon. I also do private classes for anyone who's interested, or if you have any questions, you can always message me on my Verbling account. Now, welcome to class.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I came to visit a friend here in Prescott, which is a small town in Arizona, and it's snowing today, which is really pretty. If you guys want to see, I don't know if you guys can. Oh yeah, you can see pretty well. Snowing today, so I was kind of excited. Seems magical, winter magic. Snow is not something we see in Phoenix a lot, so it's pretty cool. And sorry, Ken, welcome to class.
Yes, hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you.
Is it snowy where you are?
Not now, but the last weekend was terrible. Yeah.
Yeah?
The lowest record ever. Yeah, in this area. Yeah.
For temperature?
Yes, for temperature.
That's rough. How are you
Yeah.
staying warm?
Actually, I went to the library because, library is much more air conditioned. My house is old, so it's not good for such a snowy day. So, yeah. Maybe I stayed there 4 hours or so. I read a lot of magazines and books there.
Wow. Nice. All right, Ksenia, welcome to class.
Hello.
Are you in a snowy place too?
Yes, I'm in Russia, but nowadays it's melting finally.
Oh, so you're already on your way to spring, or do you expect more snow?
I think I expect more snow in March and April, but now it's melting. And it's very, how to say, when you can't go on the street, it's very, so you can felt on every step.
Icy?
Icy. And
Slippery?
this only slippery, yes. Very slippery.
Yeah. Dangerous. I hate driving in that kind of weather.
And a lot of snow falling from the roofs. It's a big, yes, of ice, cube of ice. Dangerous.
Yeah,
Sure.
I wouldn't want one of those to hit me.
Actually, I saw one boy went through from the school and a big heap of snow, how to say, broke his spine. It was a lot of ambulance, yes.
Broke his spine?
Back, yes, spine, it's back?
So, yeah. Your
Yes.
spinal column is the bones in your back.
Yes.
That sounds terrible. You saw this happen?
I saw a lot of ambulance and something like this, and then my husband told me that it was accident with a little boy.
That's terrible. That's awful.
Yes.
On that pleasant note, now, are you in a snowy place?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm in Sweden, and then last week it was minus 20 degrees, and then it was snowy, so it was awful traffic jam. But now all snows are melted and raining. It was raining today.
Oh. Well, wet. In any case, very wet.
Yeah, very wet.
I like the rain, but it's kind of cold though.
Yeah, snow is better. I don't need to have umbrella. Rain is.
So you just let it snow on you? Doesn't matter?
Yeah, I like snow. The very beautiful sights.
You prefer snow over rain?
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Oh, Noor, welcome to class.
Thank you, Michaela. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I thought of you the other day. I know this is crazy, but I was in Italy for about a month, and I passed through Turkey on the way there and on the way back, and both times I had about 20 hours in Turkey, And
Uh-huh.
this time, the second time that I passed through, I got a hotel to sleep for a little while and just kind of get out of the airport a little bit.
Uh-huh.
And I passed a building on a bus that it said Onur on it. And I think it was like an airline or something.
Yeah. There's also brand, aircraft brand, Honor Airlines.
Yeah.
But
I passed it and I
it's
was
not
like,
mine.
hey.
Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, so
How,
is it
how
very
was it?
snowy by
How
you?
was it? Did you like Istanbul?
Oh, yes. I mean, it was a super cool 24 hours. I mean, I can't really say that like I would love to go back and stay a longer time because I thought that like it's hard for me to say that I've like been to Istanbul because it was like less than 2 days, but it was beautiful. It was so beautiful and it was snowing and I got to pass this building. I don't know what it was, but it was like this big building with two spires on the sides. I think it's famous, but I don't know what it was called. It wasn't exactly a guided tour. It was like a bus, just past it. But anyways, I saw a lot of beautiful things in my very short time there, and I would love to go back for a longer time because it looks like an amazingly cultural place.
It's very good for you. Actually, there are too many historical places. It's not enough just one day, maybe 1 week's.
Yeah,
Uh,
1 or 2 minimum.
yes. Also, you have to taste some local tastes. Like pumpkin dessert.
Yeah, ooh, that
Yeah.
sounds
Did
good.
you remember it?
Yeah, we
Oh,
talked about
yeah.
it once during that pumpkin class,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I
Yeah.
think you gave me a recipe?
Yeah. I gave it.
Yeah.
Approximately 12.5 years ago. Your memory is very well.
Wow, I can't believe it was that long ago.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you, Onur, and let me get a couple words in with the other students before we jump into our topic for today. Gregor, welcome to class.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you, Gregor?
I'm fine, thank you.
Are you escaping the snow right now, or what's the weather doing by you?
Actually, I'm in the UK, so the only thing that I can expect is rain. It's
It
rain
doesn't
today.
snow?
No, in the last year probably I see some snow. Maybe I saw some snow in the morning this year, but that's the only thing that maybe,
Interesting.
yeah.
Is it not cold enough to snow, or why doesn't it snow?
I don't know. In the UK, usually it doesn't snow. It's quite cold. In 2012, there was a lot of snow. It was quite cold. Now,
Ah,
this time in this season, this year, I mean, it's quite cold, but it doesn't snow. You
got
can expect rain. So I don't know. I don't understand this weather.
it. Me neither. Thanks, Gregor. And Diana, welcome to class. You're muted.
Hi, Michelle. Thank you
Hi.
very much.
So, what's the weather like by you, Diana?
Pardon, can you repeat the question?
What is the weather like by you, near you?
Okay, today is around 25 degrees in Bogota, so it's sunny. It's a sunny day. It's very good.
You're the only one of us, I think, that's got sunny, warm weather. It sounds pretty nice.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay, so today we're talking about government and politics. I thought this would be a cool new topic for us because obviously in the US we're expecting elections pretty soon, primaries even sooner, and it's always an interesting topic because things are always changing in politics. So today we're going to talk a lot about US politics, but I also maybe would like to hear a little bit about how other countries do it too. Let's share a little bit about your governments before we go into a listening exercise. about the caucuses, and also there's going to be lots of questions about other things. Lots of conversation today. So let me start with Ken. Ken, can you share a little bit about how your government works? Tell us about how often voting takes place, or maybe political parties that are popular?
Actually, but voting system is, Japan has a prime minister system, so we don't have a president, so voting system a bit different from the United States because people vote for electors, not direct voting for president, but people choose president. But in Japanese politics, kind of people choose senators, and majority party can choose prime minister. So that's one difference. And we have upper house and lower house like in America. And yeah, maybe such difference.
Do you guys still have like the three branches that we have? Judicial, legislation? Okay, I
Yeah,
see.
the three branches should be separated in the laws, but actually sometimes it's not so separated completely actually. Yeah, it's such kind of a system is a bit kind of vague.
And how many times per year do you have the opportunity to vote?
I forgot. Upper house, maybe every 2 years, lower house, and then 2 years later, upper house. I forgot exactly, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool.
And kind of local election, the city government or mayor or something like that. Yeah.
More frequently for that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably, I'm not sure about that, but yeah. National election and local election. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two types of elections. Yes.
Thanks, Ken. Diana, go ahead and tell us a little bit about Bogota's government and the branches of government, how frequently you vote, and maybe the main political parties that are important.
Well, in Colombia we have several parties. At the beginning we have a conservatory and a free party, but today we have a lot of parties. Well, we are not in time of elections, but I can say that there is a party that now is many people is agree with that party. There is, I don't know how to say in English, but it's the Democratic Party.
You mean it's similar, it's got similar views, or it's called the Democratic Party?
It's a Democratic Party.
Okay. And that's the party in power?
Yes, exactly.
Cool. Thank you very much, Diana. Gregor, tell us a little bit about your political system, how often you vote, and the important political parties.
Political system, so we have a president, I vote for the president in every 5 years. The president could be chosen by the society twice in his life. We also had the government. The head of the government, the leader of the government, is the prime ministers, who has many ministers of administration, environment, and other fields of the economy, like education. What else? We choose the prime minister or the leading party because it could be one, two, usually sometimes three. It's not very easy coalition for everyone. So we electing them. I think there is a distance 4 years, so it could be earlier. That depends from political situation. Two main political parties. It's hard to point out two main political parties because the last election, probably many heard who won. Law and Justice, which was described like a right-wing party, Eurosceptics, but actually, I mean, it's not exactly. I mean, I will consider them like a conservative socialist. And we have other parties like There's some representative of farmers, representative of bankers, representative of people who represent other nationalities in our country, which is kind of weird. No, seriously. We have a party who actually went to European Union to accuse our government that he want to make changes in our political system, and the whole Europe was debating about it. But what I found interesting about our country, there was experiment made when there was a musician who decided to create like a club in our parliament, and what people in this it's not a party, it's more like a club. I found people from Catholic nationalists to conservative liberals, one person who created a porno movie, and today he wants to legalize marijuana in our country, and some people about who has like a left wing. We can describe them as people who can who are leftists, maybe. It's not very polite, but the whole bunch of different people who created a club in our parliament, which is, I mean, I don't know if such thing exists in other countries, but it works since started a couple of months. So.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing, Gregor. And Ksenia, can you also talk on some of the same topics, like how often you vote and what the major political parties are?
Okay, but I don't know exactly very much about it, but I know that in Russia we have 3 branches. Actually, it's legislative, judicial, or I don't know how to say, judicial, oh my god, judicial and executive. And executive is president and vice president. I think we choose president nowadays for 6 years, and before it was only 4 years, but there was change about 4 years ago. And I don't know exactly because I'm a bad citizen. I haven't voted. No time, or how to say, any time.
You haven't ever voted.
Yes, I haven't ever voted. So
Got it. Well, the system sounds very similar to what we use in the US. So,
yes, I think so.
And why don't you vote?
I don't believe in a vote. I think it's already decided.
Oh, I see. So you think that it's like a scam?
Just
a trick.
Yes, waste of time. Yes.
Got it. All right. Well, I have heard that from many people as well. I don't think you're the only one who feels that way. But I still think voting is good. All right. Thank you, Ksenia, for sharing. And now you're up next. Tell us a little bit about your political system. How often you vote, what are the major political parties, and any other juicy details you can think of.
I'm from Japan, so Aka already have explained about all. But the upper house people can work 6 years, and then every 3 years we have a voting. And in lower house, 4 years, every 4 years, I think. I'm not sure.
Do you vote regularly?
Sometimes. I should go there, but Japan is also not good situation of the media manipulating everything, so I don't believe media and some government things. So
you're in a similar boat to Ksenia, where you don't believe in the political system, you think it's broken, so you don't want to participate.
Yeah, yeah, me and my friend discuss about political things, but yeah, we should do some action, I think. But yeah, we yeah, I've been 3 times
3 times to vote?
to vote. Yes.
Do you do it electronically or paper ballot?
Paper, but in these days, some people, yeah, paper.
Paper.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, the U.S. uses paper as well, which, well, I think it's weird because electronic seems like it would make a lot more sense because it's a lot less trash and it's faster and...
Yeah, maybe Sweden is electronic voting, I think.
Seems like a good idea.
Yeah, so very high rate to younger people are interested in political things, and then voting rate is very high in Sweden.
Yeah. If it's easy, it's easy to get participation. That's true.
Yeah.
All right, Onur, tell us about your political system, and you could talk about Turkey or a different country, whatever you choose.
Before I begin, I have to declare that I hate politics because they are not specific for any country. All of the world, these people, I think, hypocrites. They are hypocrites. We have a lot of parties in Turkey, approximately 12, but there are 4 main parties. One of them, AKP, it's abbreviation of Adalet ve Kalkınma Partisi. It's like something like that. They rule the Turkey now, approximately 12 years. And yeah, and I don't like their politics and their main ideas also, because they begin to work. We have a lot of countries. We have a lot of mates. We didn't have any enemy in the region, but now
so you have
it's
more
very
allies?
complicated. Yeah. We have too many allies, but
Too many?
allies. Yes.
What do you mean too many? How can there be too many?
Too many, yeah. We had good relationships with Russia. We had good relationship with Syria. We had good relationship Iran, something like that. Their politics is a bullshit. And there's another there are another parties, CHP. This represents left-wing secular people. We have MHP party. It represents nationalists, approximately 10% of Turkey. And there are another main party, HDP. This represents a certain pie of Kurdish people, Kurdish population. It's very complicated in Turkey, politics.
Yeah.
I hate. Yeah.
Yeah. Politics are very complex. It almost is never as simple as it feels like it should be. And well, I'm going to share a little bit about U.S. politics and start with some things that few people know outside the U.S., like the Electorate College. Does anyone know about the U.S. Electorate College or Electoral College?
It's like a selection system, right?
Yeah. I think Ken was talking a little bit about that before. Do you know more about it, Onur? Do you want to share anything about the Electoral College?
No.
Yes. Me? Oh, sorry.
Okay, Aka, please continue. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, electoral system. The American people vote for electors, and usually elector announce which president does they support. So that's the American electoral system. So they cannot vote for the president directly. They choose elector. And I heard, I'm not sure whether it is true or not, but the reason why this system started, because in the past, elite people think kind of ordinary people are are not so intelligent or kind of stupid, so they cannot choose proper president or something. That's why this system started. I read about that, but I'm not sure whether it is true or not.
So it's hard to know exactly why we still have this system because it doesn't make a ton of sense. But originally it started because what would happen is when we had colonies in the US and there wasn't a lot of easy transportation, what would happen is everyone would send like one person from their city and say, oh, my city voted for this guy. And so instead of each person having a ballot, they just decide collectively as a city who is their candidate, and then one person would be the electorate to go and tell, like have a meeting all together and say, okay, we've got 4 cities who want that person and 5 cities who want this person, or whatever. So that's why it works this way. And it's a super complex system. I'm going to tell a little bit more about it because it has some flaws. And like you were saying, Ken, what happens is we have 1 or 2 or sometimes more electorates that represent the people, but we have a couple issues, which is that they're not exactly evenly spread out. So sometimes you'll have one state that has a high number for their percentage of population, and then another state that has a low number of electorates for their population. So the votes are not actually even. It depends where you are, how much your vote is really going to matter. And then, of course, there's the problem that if you vote, like Arizona is typically a Republican state, and I am not Republican in general. So if I vote Democratic in a Republican state, my vote doesn't get counted at all, not even once, because what happens is our electorates go and they say, okay, Arizona went Republican, and so all of the votes of Arizona go Republican, even though lots of people didn't vote Republican in Arizona. So we end up with this system that can sometimes elect a president that doesn't have the most popular, like he didn't get the most votes, he or she didn't get the most votes, but they still get elected because they got the most electoral votes. And the very last problem is that it is a secret ballot that the electorates use, so they don't actually have to vote for the people that Arizona wants. So if Arizona voted Republican and that electorate just decided to go rogue and vote Democratic, he or she totally could. There's no rules about them having to properly represent the state. So they can make their own decisions and vote against what their state wanted. These are the problems.
I heard actually it happened once.
Oh yeah, totally. President Bush's first term he was not the popular vote. So technically Al Gore had more votes for him, but he wasn't elected. President Bush was because, you know. And it's happened before that too, but not in my time. It was long ago and I don't know that many details about it. But it's kind of an odd system. It's obviously outdated and it comes from a long time ago when we didn't have very good transportation and communication, which we do now. All right. We've probably spent enough time talking about that. Do you guys have any other comments or questions on the Electoral College or anything else before we go into the article that we're going to look at today? Cool. So I'm going to copy-paste, if I can, an article in the chat box for you, and it's about the caucus in Iowa, which is also pretty complicated. First, we're going to listen. It's got a 3-minute, a little bit more than 3 minutes for the report. We're going to listen to it, and then we're going to talk a little bit about it and answer some questions, and then maybe go back to some conversation if we have time. So you guys can open this in the chat box to find the page, load the page. It should say, how exactly do the Iowa caucuses work? And then below that you'll see a little gray box with a blue circle and a white triangle, and that's where you can click to listen. But before you guys get started, I have a couple questions to help you guys focus a little bit on what exactly you're listening to. I've got some conversation questions for you guys to try to hear, and then we'll talk about it after. Sorry. Does everyone have it loaded up? Does everyone have the page loaded? Yes?
It's some kind of a website or what? It's program?
Yeah, it's just a page with an article, and then you have to click on the button to listen. So it's not going to play automatically. You have to click to listen.
So shall we begin now?
Oops. Yeah, hold on. And I've got the conversation questions coming in the chat box, and I'll read them for you really quick. You guys are, oops, sorry, spelled caucus wrong. You guys are going to listen for what kind of pie they mention, what % of the vote do you need to stay in the election in the Democratic caucus, and what do they say about whether Donald Trump can deliver. So those are the 3 answers you're looking for. And I'm going to put those in the chat box for you. Otherwise, you guys can get started listening to this 3-minute report on the Iowa caucuses. Go ahead. Is everyone pretty much finished? It was terrible.
Yeah.
Too fast? Too complex?
Too fast and complex. Just I realized the 25%. Just that.
25 persons for what? And also probably should be people.
If I'm not wrong, it is answer of the first question. What did you?
The first question about pi? What kind of pi?
No. The second question. What
percent of the vote do you need to stay in the electoral Democratic caucus? All right. Well, at least you heard something. Tell us a little bit about what else you heard, Onur. Did you understand some of the ideas that were being passed around?
After I lose the sequence, I did not concentrate the rest. Because of that, I failed.
Yeah, sometimes that happens if you lose your place, or like if you kind of lose your understanding, then all of a sudden everything becomes very difficult and you can't get back on track. But what I like about NPR is they frequently, and let me check to make sure this one does, they frequently have transcripts. Yeah, this one has a transcript. So if you guys were having a ton of trouble, what you can do after class is go and look at the transcript while you're listening to help you understand what exactly you were missing. And listen a few times. That'll help a lot so that you understand better and then understand better in the future as well. So you can listen to it a few times with the transcript and then try again without the transcript to be more accustomed to the sound patterns you're hearing that represent the words that are written, because obviously they're saying things a lot different than the way they're written sometimes.
Okay, thanks.
All right. And how about now? How was it for you? Did you have a similar experience? Really difficult?
Yeah, it was difficult, so I just focused
on to
find.
You got one answer. You said strawberry for the first one, right?
Yeah, strawberry pie, and I coded up the 15% for second question.
Excellent. So you did hear a good amount, even though it can be frustrating sometimes when you feel like you're missing information. You did hear some important details. That's awesome.
That's it.
Thanks. Gregor, how did it go for you?
Well, it wasn't easy. I mean, I always have some difficulties when there's like a lot of information about different sites. So.
Well, I definitely chose a difficult one for the purpose of practicing some really complex listening. But what else did you hear about the topic of Iowa caucuses? Did you hear anything else?
About Iowa and Hampshire, I've heard something that nobody really have like a domination in these two states. I think the exception was Bill Clinton, for example. So they mentioned about this hard time for people who actually don't to get support from those two states. So
yes, awesome. Thanks a lot, Gregor. That was a really good detail you added for us. Diana, how did it go for you? Was it super difficult, medium difficult?
Very difficult. Actually, the topic is new for me, and the person that was talking in the audio, for me, speaks a little bit fast.
It was very fast, that's true. What else did you hear while you were listening? What was the main topic and some of the ideas you caught?
Well, I just understand some difference between the Democratic and the Republican Party and the part of Donald Trump, but the other part was difficult.
Both of those were important details. Thanks, Diana. And Ken, how did it go for you? Was it super tough?
Yeah, kind of. Maybe if we know the system of the American politics more, maybe we can understand more probably. Yes, it talks fast and a lot of kind of difficult vocabulary, and I don't know so much about this kind of choosing system in America. So,
Uh-huh.
but they mentioned about Republicans are simple, but Democrats maybe this word caucuses are a bit complicated. That's
Mm-hmm.
what I heard.
Yeah, it's super complicated, and to be honest, a lot of Americans don't understand how it works either. Um, but I chose this article in particular in this report because it's super fast, and I knew that it was going to be difficult for you guys. So even though it's frustrating, it's a great exercise because you can listen to it once when you're totally unfamiliar, and then we can read through this article a little bit and listen again if you like, or listen with the transcript to make it a little bit easier, and then try it again maybe without the transcript to see if you can hear a little better what they're saying now that you kind of understand the topic more. It's a great exercise, and we'll talk about it now. The reason that I asked those questions in the beginning is not because it is important what kind of pie they have, but because when you're listening for specific information, you listen better and with more focused ears. So that's just why I like to ask some questions. But if you guys did not listen or didn't hear the answers to those questions, it's not super important because we'll go over it all now, and they were really just to try to focus your attention rather than them actually being super meaningful. So let's go on to the article. Do you guys have any comments or questions that I can answer right now before we start reading? Nothing? Cool.
Well, I have all the questions about the audio, but let's start because I don't know.
Yeah. Don't worry too much. We're going to read the article now, and then once we read the article, a lot of what you hear in the audio will become clear. So we'll get started on that. Anything else I can answer before we go on? Okay. So first of all, what is a caucus? It's in the title, so it's important to go over now.
Caucus is how can I say? Maybe party member gathered or supporter gathered to choose candidate of the party.
Exactly. Yep. And does anyone know who are the main political candidates right now? Did you guys hear those details? I know someone mentioned Donald Trump, which is one of them. Who else are the main candidates?
Hillary Clinton.
Yep.
There's this guy supported by college students, Anderson, I guess.
What was the last one you said? Something Anderson?
Yeah, I think. There's like a second candidate. I'm not sure about his name.
Ah, you're really close. Now I know who you're talking about. Does anyone know who the second candidate is for the Democratic Party other than Hillary? Nobody? You're really close with Anderson, but it's not quite Anderson. Anyone else? Did anyone else hear it? Or any other candidates for the Republican Party you guys heard?
Someone's son? Clinton? I don't know. Clinton's son.
Well,
No.
Nobody?
And George Bush brother, younger brother from Republican.
Yeah, he is a candidate. I don't think he was mentioned in. I don't know if he was mentioned. Yeah, I don't think he was mentioned, but you're totally right. You're very politically aware to know all the candidates because there's a lot of Republican candidates right now. It's not a small pool. Okay, let's just get started, and we're going to read a lot more about it. So let's read through this. I'll read this first little thing, and then I'll ask you guys to read some of the other parts. Iowa's process of picking its choice for president is complicated. We try to demystify it in this space. Here are the basics. Okay, so first we're going to see, where does the word caucus come from? A little bit of background information. And I'm going to start on the right with now. Will you read the highlighted section?
Sure. The word caucus is thought to come from an Algonquin Indian word. Kankakkus means one who advises, argues, encourages, and to talk, to give counsel, advise, and encourage, and to urge, promote, incite to action.
Thanks. So that actually comes from a Native American word for someone who encourages and urges. Let's go on to what is the caucus and how does it work. And let's have, sorry, who's taking, Gregor, will you read the next section that's highlighted?
Okay, it's essentially a neighborhood meeting of sorts, for politically active, like-minded people, unlike the kind of voting most people are used to, which only takes a few minutes and involves pushing a button or pulling a lever in the secrecy of a voting booth. Iowans have to devote an hour or so of their evening to the process. The caucuses on the Democratic side are also much more out in the open. Everyone knows who you voted for and possibly why.
Thank you very much. The next section here is for Diana.
This is why urgency of support is important. In democratic caucuses, you don't vote with your fingers, you vote with your feet. More on that in our long answer. Republicans in Iowa, the process is much simpler and more orderly. Someone from the campaigns might speak for their candidate, but then voting happens by an informal, secret ballot.
Ballot, yes.
Ballot.
Mm-hmm.
Think folded up pieces of paper pass in and collect.
Thank you very much. And Ken, will you read this a little bit more about the Democratic stuff?
Democrats, 1,683 Democratic caucuses will be held at more than 1,000 locations. They started at 8 p.m. Eastern Time and can last an hour or more. There are 44 delegates to the National Convention that can be won through this process, which takes months. None are assigned on caucus night. Note: 8 more unpledged party leaders and elected officials get to go straight to the National Convention from Iowa. They don't have to go through the state's complicated delegate selection process, and they can vote for whichever candidates they want at the convention. Because of that power, they are colloquially referred to as superdelegates.
Thank you very much. So before we go on, let's look at a little bit of vocabulary. Do you guys have questions from this first section that you can see? The question, where does the word caucus come from? Or what is a caucus and how does it work? Do you guys have vocabulary questions or maybe grammar questions or anything else from this section?
There's one word, ardency.
Ah, yes, that was some word. Ah, here it is. Ardency. Does anyone know the definition of that word already? It's a synonym for passion or devotion, sometimes enthusiasm, or eagerness, if someone's very eager, maybe emotional. So this is when they're talking about this kind of support. It's passionate support, very devoted support. All right. Any other vocabulary questions from this section? We have a lot of specific vocabulary.
Why the boat with your feet? What that mean? You boat with your feet. Boat with boat with your fingers. You boat with your feet.
So they're going to talk a little bit more about that in a second. I will leave that as a surprise. We're going to get to it. We have at least, well, we'll have a few more minutes, and it's written down below. So as long as you guys don't have any other questions, any other vocabulary questions from this part that Ken just read as well? Or can we get on to the voting with your feet part? Okay. I'm going to assume no more questions. If you guys do have more questions, you're also welcome to put them in the chat box. Let's get through a little bit more. Number 1 through 5. This is what happens on caucus night for the Democrats. So we're going to read a little bit more, and that'll answer some of the questions. Now, can you start by reading 1 through 5?
Sure. There's a call to order. ACO's chair and secretary and elected supporters makes the case for their candidates. Caucus chairs. How to pronounce it?
Caucus?
Caucus.
Oh, caucus goers.
Caucus goers separate into group in corners or part of the room for their candidates of choice. It's kind of like a junior high dance if the kids want, so part petrified of each other. When the groups are formed, the elected chair adds up how many supporters are in each cluster.
Thanks. So this is what they meant by voting with your feet. Instead of writing down a little piece of paper what you want, you actually walk to where the dedicated space for the candidate that you want. So you use your feet, you walk over to the area that's for a particular candidate, and it visually creates a lot of understanding. So in a Democratic caucus, you can see immediately like who is in which corner. All right. Did you guys have any vocabulary questions on this section, these 5 first things? Caucus goers is kind of a fun word. It's just a word that's smushed together. Someone who goes somewhere, a goer, and caucus smushed together, so caucus goers. You can also invent words a lot like this, party goers or poll goers. You can come up with an event and then just add goers to it, and you are referring to the people that go to these events. Any other questions or comments, guys?
Also petrified. Petrified.
Petrified. Does anyone know the definition of petrified? No? It's a synonym for scared, but it's the absolute version of it. So sometimes we have gradable adjectives. You can be a little scared or a lot scared, but petrified is an extreme version. So if you're petrified, everyone knows that you're super, super scared. You're very scared. All right, so I'm going to close this class now since I have another class coming up. If you guys have any other comments or questions, now is your last chance. Otherwise, you'll have to message me on my Verbling inbox. Anything? Okay. Thank you guys so much for coming and participating and talking a little bit and sharing with me about your governments. I'm going to be doing more classes soon, so I hope to see you all again. Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.